Put headphones on and play your mix next to a favorite release. If yours feels smaller, duller, or less controlled, the instinct is usually to add more plugins and push the limiter harder, but that's where a lot of beginner masters go wrong. Mastering isn't a magic loudness button, it's the final quality control pass on a finished mix. Small, intentional decisions about tone, dynamics, level, sequencing, and delivery. Here are 10 practical tips that will help you hear those decisions and avoid the myths that can wreck a good mix. Tip 1. Know what mastering can and cannot fix. Mixing shapes the relationships inside the song. Mastering usually works on the finished stereo mix, making sure the whole record translates and is ready for release. That means mastering can improve overall balance, control a peak, adjust broad tone, and set final level. It cannot cleanly turn down only a buried vocal or replace a kick that disappears. If one element is seriously wrong, the best mastering move is often to revise the mix. Before adding anything, listen all the way through. Write down only the problems you can actually hear. The chorus gets sharp. The low end blooms on 2 notes. The final minute feels louder. A specific problem leads to a specific tool. A vague feeling usually leads to plugin stacking. Tip 2. Build a chain from need, not habit. EQ, compression, saturation, and limiting are common mastering tools, but they're not a required 4-step recipe. Some songs need only level and limiting. Others need a tiny EQ move, then a limiter. Occasionally, a compressor works better before EQ. Sometimes it reacts more musically after corrective EQ. Start with an empty chain. Add one processor to solve the clearest problem. Level match its bypass so louder doesn't fool you into hearing better. If the processor doesn't improve the song at equal loudness, remove it. The cleanest mastering chain is the one with no unnecessary stages. Tip 3. Feed the chain a clean, unclipped mix. Your premaster does not need to peak at one magic number. It does need to be free of accidental clipping and leave enough operating margin for your chain. In a modern floating point DAW, you can simply trim the input if the level is awkward, assuming the mix itself and any fixed point export weren't already clipped. Ask for a lossless stereo file at the session sample rate, with no loudness maximizer, unless that processing is part of the artist's sound. Then verify the loudest section. Headroom is working space, not a badge of quality. Tip 4. Use EQ for balance, not ideology. There's no rule that cuts are safe and boosts are dangerous. With a conventional minimum phase EQ, both can change phase around the affected frequencies, and that is often perfectly normal. Linear phase avoids that particular phase shift, but it can introduce pre-ringing and latency, so it isn't automatically better. Choose the move that directly solves the problem. A broad high shelf can open a dull track. A narrow cut can calm a resonance. A gentle low shelf can restore weight. Work in small increments because a 1 decibel broadband change affects the entire song, but don't treat 3 decibels as a legal boundary. If a larger move sounds necessary, check the mix first, and then trust the level-matched result. Tip 5. Compress only when the song asks for it. Mastering compression can add movement, density, or cohesion, but it is optional. A starting point might use a low ratio, modest gain reduction, and attack and release times chosen around the groove. Those are starting points, not rules. A slower attack can let transients through, a faster attack can soften them. A release that is too fast may pump, while one that is too slow may stay clamped into the next phrase. Watch the meter, but listen for groove, punch, and vocal stability. Bypass at matched loudness. If the track becomes smaller or less alive, back off or skip compression entirely. Tip 6. Treat saturation as color, not free loudness. Saturation creates harmonics and changes waveform shape. That can make a master feel denser, brighter, warmer, or more forward. It may also change peaks, blur transients, or add grit. It is not guaranteed loudness with zero peak cost. Use the lightest setting, compensate the output level, and compare at equal loudness. Listen especially to cymbals, vocal consonants, bass definition, and kick attack. If saturation is helping, the character should support the song. If you mainly hear more, the level match probably needs work. Tip 7. Set loudness for the music and destination. Now the famous number -14 LUFS. Spotify uses about -14 integrated LUFS for its normal playback setting, but that does not mean every master must be delivered at -14. Playback normalization and mastering level are different decisions. Other services and settings behave differently, and genre expectations vary. Use an ITU 1770 compatible loudness meter. Compare current releases in your style, decide how much punch and density the song should keep, and raise limiter input only while the result still sounds good. On Spotify, current guidance recommends staying below -1 dB true peak. If the master is louder than -14 integrated LUFS, Spotify recommends below -2 dB true peak to reduce encoding distortion. The limiter's ceiling is the output cap. Gain reduction tells you how hard it is working. There is no universal 3 decibel law. Listen for flattened drums, spitty vocals, pumping, and stereo image changes. Stop when the trade-off becomes worse than the loudness benefit. Tip 8. Reference fairly. Use 2 or 3 professionally released songs with similar style, arrangement density, and low-end intent. A normal commercial master is useful. You do not need a secret limiter-free version. The critical step is loudness matching. Turn the louder file down before judging tone, punch, width, or depth. Then compare short sections, chorus to chorus, verse to verse. Ask focused questions. Is my vocal region harsher? Does my kick disappear at low volume? Is the reference wider everywhere, or only in its high-frequency arrangement? A reference is a compass, not a photocopier. Tip 9. Check translation, mono, and codec behavior. Great masters survive context. Check at a quiet monitor level, on headphones, through a small speaker, and in mono. Mono will reveal cancellations that a wide stereo image can hide, especially in bass and ambience. Correlation meters can help, but the listening test is the decision. Also, audition a consumer encode before delivery. Apple provides tools for checking its AAC encode path. Many DAWs can export a temporary AAC or MP3 for comparison. The compressed preview is not the master you deliver. It is a stress test for true peaks, brittle highs, and fragile stereo effects. Tip 10. Print methodically, then walk away. Level match the finished master against the premaster. Listen from start to finish without touching a control. Check the beginning, ending, fades, clicks, channel balance, sample rate, bit depth, and file naming. Dither only when you reduce bit depth and apply it once at the final reduction stage. Then take a real break. 10 quiet minutes can expose what an hour of looping hides. Return and ask one question. Does the master communicate the song better, or is it only louder? If it's only louder, you're not done. Mastering becomes much easier when you stop chasing magic numbers. 1. Master the finished mix, not the individual tracks. 2. Build the chain from need. 3. Start clean and unclipped. 4. Make EQ decisions without myths. 5. Compress only for a reason. 6. Level match saturation. 7. Choose loudness for the music and destination. 8. Reference fairly. 9. Test translation and encoding. 10. Export carefully and reset your ears. Pick one of these habits for your next release. My vote is simple. Level match every bypass and every reference. That single step makes the rest of your mastering decisions more honest.